So, we've been talking recently about all the amazing changes that are happening to AI. But Wade, I want to flip the script because we talk about humanity. And I'm curious to see if you think that there's any downside to humanity in AI with all these changes that are happening so quickly.
Yeah, great question. And I think you guys know that we try to bring the positive to light because you can find the negative everywhere. It exists. But we want to show you guys what's positive and what's possible, the potential that exists. However, there are downsides. They exist. And so here are a few of the things that we'll talk about that are present. And I think one of the primary ones you and I have discussed before is the loss of human agency. This ability of, we have a mind, we are human beings, and we can perceive and we can think and learn and grow. And what is happening as professors, you and I can see this, is our students are offloading their minds onto AI to write papers, to do the work. That is not a good thing for society. Just think about it logically. Just take a nurse. If a nurse goes and gets their education and gets A's because they offload all their mind to AI, when they get out into the world and have to take care of a human being, it's not going to be good. They're not prepared. Engineers, lawyers, all of that, like it's the same. So it takes some intention to really focus on using this AI to better yourself, not to diminish yourself, because that's exactly what you're doing if you offload all these tasks. Yes, AI can help you with things and get things done much more quickly. Perfect. That's great. It can also help you grow and self-develop, but you can't offload your learning and your growth and your process of understanding things and kind of cheat your way through life with AI. It's not going to work out well for you or for society as a whole. Any thoughts on that or some other ideas, Cynthia?
Well, you're absolutely right. And with the students, I see that they believe that AI is 100% accurate and they don't double check anything. I always recommend to everybody, yes, I use AI on a daily basis and it's a great tool, but I also go back and double check and ask myself, does this make sense to me? Because I find that people are not double checking, and you touched on it. So what's happening is a lot of people are losing their ability to have that skill of critical thinking. They're
Mm,
not thinking. So they're like,
yes.
okay, well, this is easy, right? Or seemingly easy. But it's like, years ago when people were using calculators and they forgot how to do math the old way, and I'm guilty of that. But now
Yeah.
what's happening is that they're letting AI think for them. And to me, that can be dangerous. We always have to be able to have the ability to use our own minds and think for ourselves.
Yes, and I love that phrase, think for yourself. That's what I tell my students every class I have. Like, that's not the end point you want to be at, but you want to start there. You can start thinking for yourself, not the systems that you find yourself in and what's going on in the world around you. Yourself, what is beneficial to you personally. And it's not selfishly just grabbing resources, right? It's about making the world a better place, being a good person. Another point to talk about, that going back to our students, this Gen Z, that they are facing, and I taught AI ethics last night. I asked my class about this. How hard is it for you to find a job right now? And the entire class was like, yes, you could sense I could see, the heartfelt just difficulty that they are having, these poor, young adults getting ready to go out into the workforce. And suddenly the workforce is not like it used to be. And this is just from the classes and students I see. Obviously, you could look at the stats nationwide and you see how difficult it is for people to find jobs. AI is certainly a factor in that. It may not be the total cause. Nothing's ever a total cause, but it's definitely a huge factor. And so that's an issue to keep in mind is jobs are being displaced. A funny story I told them, a report came out with the top jobs that are going to be replaced, a really intensive look at things. And number 24 on this list, which went to thousands of jobs, was business professor, which is what I do. So I was just I was like, guys, whatever you're facing, look at this. I'm number 24, which is, the top 1% of jobs to be replaced by AI. I don't know what's going to happen. But we're all in the same boat. It's again, and this could down the line turn into a wonderful thing where we have time on our hands to use to better ourselves and better others and make the world like that's a possibility. We have to work for it. We have to aim in that direction. Any other downsides you see, Cynthia?
Well, I want to go back to the job search because what I am finding, it's not just for, the young college graduates, it's for business professionals. I have a lot of friends that for different reasons or maybe have gotten laid off, and they're sharing that it's scary for them that even though they have a lot of experience, the way you do job search is very, very different, and they're having trouble actually getting interviews.
Mm,
So they put everything out there, but to actually connect with somebody on the other end is very, very challenging. So I think, we don't know the complete impact AI is going to have on jobs and, job search. And I think that's created a lot of fear for many people at all different levels in their career. So I don't know what the answer is, but I do sense a lot of fear from a lot of people.
yes. And just stick, we know there's some bigger issues that we can talk about in a moment, but to stick with the personal and the younger generation, another issue is something we've talked about in other, videos, but just the psychological effect, the mental health effects of AI potentially on people if they're, you know, at a weakened state, or even if you're at a normal state, I don't know, maybe it can pull you into that same state of AI psychosis, as they call it today, where you just lose yourself in the reality of AI replacing this true reality in which we inhabit. And, that's a really dangerous thing because there's been divorces, there's been people put in institutions, lots of things have happened as a result of AI psychosis, where people just lose their sense of reality and their connection to other people, other human beings, and things like that. So that's a downside that you need to be aware of.
Right. And I think what's happening is with AI and the use of algorithms, everybody is living in their individual bubble, and their bubble becomes their reality. So we have so many different people living in different realities. And, we hear so much about, school shooters and people that kill people with guns. And because in their world that they were seeing, they believed what was around them, but it's not necessarily what the general population believes to be reality. So I think that's kind of scary because if you don't have that human touch and you're not connected to other people or other ideas, you believe whatever is in front of you, and it's like you're detached from the rest of the world, which is scary because people resort to violence, and it's almost like the school shooters, they want to be like martyrs and they feel like it's good to die in these school shootings, which is, I can't understand that.
Yeah. And, the other thing to continue this process, if, on down the line, potential human is becoming obsolete to AI in terms of how governments think about running themselves and operating. And it's like, well, we've got this super intelligence, which will be coming, where it's far beyond our capabilities. So we just give it all to that and let it make all the decisions. We're out of the loop. We're obsolete. And, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you offload your brain to study in classes and things like that, well, you're not getting smarter. You're not working on yourself. And this other thing is growing exponentially, doubling in power every 6 months. What do you think the outcome's going to be in 5 years if that trend continues, right? You have to think about that and kind of project forward.
Well,
Um,
and so what we talk about all the time, AI is amazing. AI is here to stay. But just like we keep talking about, you have to temper it with humanity. So there you have it.
that's right.